Here on Long Island, we have a yearly contest called Best of Long Island, and it's very sought after. A lot of people want this thing. It used to be run by Bethpage Credit Union. Now it's run by Four Leaf Credit Union. I'm not exactly sure how they managed to corner the market on the awards for the year, but they have. They started small and they've expanded, and there's no shortage of categories here. There's so many subgenres of categories you can't believe it. There's like let's check out like the food categories. You got best acai bowl on Long Island, best appetizer, best bacon menu item, best bagels on Long Island, best baked clams on Long Island, best bakery online store, best bakery, best barbecue sauce, best binge watching snack on Long Island, best BLT, best branzino, best breakfast, best brunch, best burger, best burrito, best butcher. I'm on the best B's so far in just the food category. So you can imagine how much further it goes. There's arts and entertainment, automotive, bars and nightlife, education. But people they submit their businesses, they try to win this thing, and then they put a big banner outside of their business. We won Best of Long Island, and they really rub it in everyone else's face. We won the Best of Long Island, and it really feels like it did something. So I was on a podcast a few years ago. I used to produce a podcast. We would call the Adult Babies podcast. It's still going. I'm not affiliated anymore, but they're still going. But a few years ago, we decided to enter. So we did. We entered, and we ended up winning that year. We promoted it a good amount, but the guys that were on it, we voted. Each of us, I know two of us, had a few different email addresses. So we would vote a few times a day. We asked people to vote. We really pushed it, and we won, and we were happy we won. We were proud of it. We felt like, yeah, you know what? We are the best podcast on Long Island. We looked at the competition, and we believed in our product, and we feel like, yeah, this makes sense. I feel like we legitimately won this thing. So next year came around, and you're automatically nominated if you win one year. So we were in the next year, and then we are like, all right, you know what? We actually won this thing last year, so let's try to win it again. So I had a couple more email addresses. Now I'm voting, a handful of times a day. We're still promoting it, and then we win it again. So very exciting. We feel like we really did something. But I got I started feeling like a little bit bitter towards this thing. That it started to feel like, how are we really regulating this thing? How are we gauging who's the best? I want to know who the best. I would love the source to find where the best food is the food items are on Long Island. And I feel like I've always felt this way about anything that, even like the Oscars, you need to experience every nominated item in order to have a real opinion. I've gotten heavy into coffee shops this year, and I feel like I'd love to really rate coffee shops and find the best coffee shop on Long Island for me personally. And I want to share about it, and I started an Instagram account where I'm sharing about it. But I'm trying to do the work to figure out not just who had the most email addresses and who can vote the most times a day. So I feel like if you're a business on Long Island, you were ever nominated for this thing and you didn't win, it doesn't matter. It's all made up. This whole Best of Long Island thing is made up. It's who's got the most people they can get to vote, who's got the most time that they can create the most email addresses. Now, it's like a little suspicious that I have as many email addresses as I do, but over the years, I've created different email addresses for different things, and I've accumulated, I don't know, 20 something email addresses, and I managed to log in to different devices and different web browsers, and took me a few minutes each day to vote 20. I think this year I voted 22 times a day. Now, mind you, this podcast didn't exist for 6 months. We shut it down for 6 months. We weren't in existence, but we were still nominated automatically because we won last year. So we're nominated. But I go, you know what? Like a month had gone by of voting, and I didn't vote. The voting is open for like 2 months or something like that. So I didn't vote at all. I go, oh, that's happened again. You know what? Let me see. I'm going to start voting again. So I open up all my browsers, log into all my accounts, and I start voting away. Now I voted every day. I missed a couple days of a couple different email addresses, but I'd say for a month straight, I voted 22 times. I didn't tell anybody I was doing this, We didn't promote it. There was no podcast even to promote doing this. There was our listeners didn't exist. I think the other guys I was doing the podcast with, I don't know if they voted, but if they did, it was minimal. Cut to, we win again. A podcast that doesn't exist wins again. Then since that voting ended, they've started it up with another producer, and I wish them well. They're good guys. The Adult Babies podcast. Give them a watch. Give them a listen. I don't think there's a video element anymore. I brought that to the table. But it was an experiment. It was like, what does it take to win this thing? Now, maybe it's that particular category doesn't get a lot of votes, but I feel like if you're doing podcasts and you have listeners, you can constantly remind somebody to vote for you. I feel like that's an outlet. This category alone is an outlet to keep reminding people to vote for you. Now, most podcasts don't get a lot of viewers, but that's part of the problem. Maybe if you're the best pizza place, you're constantly reminding us, hey, don't forget to vote for best pizza place. But I really, I feel like I've proven that this thing doesn't mean anything. And I feel like I want to be a bit of a whistleblower here. I want to take this thing down because I feel bad for the people who are nominated and don't win or don't get nominated. And I want you to know it doesn't matter. The best anything on this list is not the best that thing. It just isn't. You know what I mean? Like I was saying before about the Oscars. If you haven't seen every movie that's even nominated but really released that year, you should hold off on your opinion. I thought that people put out lists of my favorite album of this year. I always feel like there should be a caveat of like the favorite album that I heard this year or my favorite album that I'm aware of this year. But best of is all that's subjective, right? From the get-go. You might have a different taste in what you think a good coffee is or what you're looking for in a coffee shop. So right there, it's flawed. So you could be like, Long Island's favorite would even be a better term for that. But outside of that, unless you've been to every coffee shop on Long Island, you can't really vote for that. Now, yeah, maybe you got a place you like to go to. I like a place here locally. It's called Locals. Well, it's in Port Jeff. And I go there, and that's my favorite place on Long Island. But I've been to almost every coffee shop on Long Island. I've been to hundreds of coffee shops on Long Island. I spend my weekends going to coffee shops, and I've formed my opinion based on that. So I kind of want them to do better. I think there's a flaw in the voting system. I don't know what the answer is, but I would love if Best of Long Island, this 4-leaf, credit union. And I like credit unions. I like credit unions more than banks. I would love it if we could get behind a credit union, but I would just wish they could come up with a better way to vote for the Best of Long Island. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I really don't have the answers. A committee that's maybe does the work, and then the public gets one vote, but there's a committee that gets other votes, and I would like to see something happen. And I don't want to seem like I'm bitter about it because I'm not on the podcast that won. I am the one that made this podcast win best podcast last year, or this coming year. So I feel like I needed to win to make this video because if we would have lost, you're going to seem really bitter if you're like, oh, we lost this year, but it's all nonsense anyway. We won, and I'm here to tell you it's nonsense. So don't put a lot of weight in this. Let yourself go of this. I'd love it if they fixed it, but fashion and clothes. Let's see. What is best big and tall men's store? Best children's clothes store? Best jeans store? There's actually not a lot of categories in the clothing department, but health and wellness, I'm sure this is a ton of, best lashes, best laser treatment, best life. There's a best life coach on Long Island. I'm interested to know who won best life coach on Long Island last year. Phil Satil. Congratulations, Phil Satil. You got more people to vote for you than anybody else, or you just had a lot of email addresses and you're just as nefarious as I am. So best Long Island, 4-leaf credit union. I hate to out you like this, but for the good of the people that lost this year, don't beat yourself up about it. You're the best in my eyes.